camps, and most will readily surmise the topic has to do with World War II and the Nazis. But this is really different. The hard labor, gruesome deaths, and barbarism here is about the death camp in Mississippi, United States. It shouldn't be surprising that America, with all its black hatred going on for centuries, has a death camp. But what is actually surprising is we never really heard about it or read about it. It is not even talked about in a whisper, in contrast to how loudly the German death camps are being talked about. The Devil's Punch Bowl in Natchez, Mississippi, USA, was where about 20,000 freed black slaves were thrown in, to starve, to suffer, and to perish. 1863 wasn't a year of singular, horrific events, but a year that encapsulated the systemic evil black Americans faced. It was already horrible enough in the North. Discrimination ran rampant. Segregated schools, limited job opportunities, and constant social exclusion were the hallmarks of black life. The violence was both physical and psychological. Whippings, beatings, and even lynchings were commonplace methods of control and had continued on the rise, regardless the Emancipation Proclamation, which was decreed during the Civil War. The Civil War was now over. Black Americans felt betrayed yet again to have trusted that the Emancipation Proclamation decreed by Abraham Lincoln was meant to change everything. It was a sham all along. They had become freed slaves for nothing. It was more or less the same, as they were literally denied all privileges that were due them on every front. This would compel these heartbroken black men and women to dust up and embark a mass relocation to where they had thought would be better and peaceful for them, only to meet the cruelest of fates there, mistreatments they never did face even when they were slaves. In this video, we are unmasking to you a sad history which has been so hidden that you most likely have never heard of it, one so dark that it takes you where forgiveness cannot be found. Before we continue, do kindly support our work. Hit the thumb button, share with friends and families, spread our eye-opening black narratives for people to know better and become better. Without further ado, let us delve in. Somewhere in the foothills of Mississippi, the trees grow heavy with abundant uneaten peaches. So nourishing and big these peaches look that one would wonder why the locals do not eat it. Varieties of tales have haunted the Devil's Punch Bowl in Mississippi for decades, from pirates to plane crashes. While the land itself may not be full of treasure, it is haunted by the history of mass unalivings, terror, and a past filled with hatred for black Americans that cannot be ignored. One particularly haunting case involves the hellish treatment of black Americans who fled to Mississippi for refuge during the Civil War of 1863. The Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 freed African Americans in rebel states, and after the Civil War, the 13th Amendment manumitted all U.S. captives wherever they were. Despite these proclamations, the reality for many newly freed African Americans was far from the freedom they had hoped for.